What is up, you guys? Claak here, back out with another video. In this video, we're going to go over the Resto Druid PvP instances. And now since the PvP season isn't even released yet, I haven't really had the time to be able to practice everything. And as you can see throughout this list that I'm about to show you, I don't have everything unlocked. I have like 3 things out of 11 things unlocked, so I haven't really been able to use them all. It's kind of just theory crafting, and that's just kind of what this video is about. So you gotta remember, this isn't like definite, like these are going to be the best things, although there's going to be some things you can tell they're just gonna be really crappy just by the tooltip. Again, anything and everything could change. I could be wrong, I could be right, but if you guys want my opinion, here's my opinion. So here it is. It's a basic tier list that I made real quick. Here is all of the 11 essences that we currently have. As you can see, I only had 3 unlocked out of the 11. So it looks a little bit poo-poo, but we're gonna make this work. So as I drag them, I'm gonna have the little tooltip, and we're gonna read it off, and we're gonna put it in its designated spot, at least personal opinion. Again, so if you watch this video, you might disagree with what I have to say. This is just for people who are asking me what I think what is the best. So here's the first one, Artifact the Time, which is actually this one right here. Again, we're going to go in order, and let's go ahead and read it. Create a time vortex around a friendly target, absorbing 366,000 damage and 366 healing for 4 seconds. When this expires, absorb damage and healing is delivered over 10 seconds. Now, first reading that, I was kind of like stoked. I'm like, this is better than Void Trinket. This is super strong. And when I started using it in the arena, it actually comes to find out that I didn't think it was that great. And I'll go over the reasons. One, the duration is not long at all. It's only 4 seconds. And when you think about that, that is actually a very, very small window of time that you have to pop it. So unless you can preemptively pop it, like before you get stunned, or they're like chaos bolts or something like coming in, you're not going to get any value out of this at all. And plus, the damage that they do within it is going to happen anyways within 10 seconds, so it can kind of render you a little bit. It can be a positive and it can be a negative at the same time, so it's really hard to get good value out of this. And the second reason why I think it's bad is also you can't use it while stunned, and you also can't use it while silenced. So again, it relies on you to be able to pop it at a good time, which it's going to be very hard because if you pop it, everyone's gonna see it. It's a huge bubble on you. They're just gonna be able to, okay, let's wait and then go. And for the third reason is it's a 3-minute cooldown. The Void Trinket to me is way better than this. If you want to run both, you can, but I don't think this is very good. So let's go ahead and look at the passive. Your heals have a very high chance to grant the target for 330 haste for 6 seconds. And I wanted to see how much this would actually proc in arena. Come to find out, it actually procs a lot. It procs a lot. So if we read anything else and it says very high chance, I'm just going to assume as the same chance as this. But sadly, the 330 haste that you get from this alone is not going to make this a viable for me. So for me, I had to put this one actually probably lower than what you think. I had to put this as C. Again, you just have to deal with a 3-minute cooldown. You have to not be stunned or silenced. You have to preemptively pop it, and then eventually you will take that damage anyways. So to me, I just feel like you wouldn't get a whole lot of value out of this. It's not completely useless, so I didn't put it at D. So to me, it was a C. Now for the second one is Memory of Lucid Dream. Now I actually really like this one. So let's go ahead and reel the tooltip. So for the major is clear your mind and attune yourself with the Heart of Azeroth, increasing your mana regeneration by 100% for 12 seconds. That alone is pretty strong. That wouldn't like get me to pick it all the time, but again, the major power is very strong, and it's on a 2-minute cooldown. So normally when I pop this, I find myself gaining, it's around like 10 to 15% mana over this time period that I get when I do pop this. I'm sure there is an exact number, but I don't have that exact number. Now for the passive, again, the passive is very strong. At least when I do arena, I find that I'm able to conserve my mana a lot more with this talent, like a lot more. I'm like, holy paladin. And let's go ahead and read this. Your spells and abilities have a chance to refund 50% of your mana spent on them and heal you for 8,500. Now the passive, again, I wouldn't go this for the heal, I went for the mana, and the heal on top of that is kind of like a cherry on the top, honestly, because it just makes it that much better. So this one to me is gonna have to be A+. But yeah, I think this is very good. This is a 2-minute cooldown. So every 2 minutes you can get a 10 to 15% of your mana back, and on top of that, of the mana regeneration or the mana that you're saving for not spending that much mana, is also very good. And for the third one, which is Crucible of Flame. This one, all right, let's go ahead and read it because I don't want to give you my opinion on it, but blast your target with a ball of concentrated flame, dealing 11,000 damage or healing. For each cast of concentrated flames, the damage is increased by 100, or the healing, and this resets after every third class. So you can practically get this up to 200%, so you can hit someone for 33,000 damage, or you can heal someone for 33,000 damage. Now, if I were you, I wouldn't necessarily use this to heal unless you're like in a oh crap moment. This is probably going to be more viable to use it as a DPS. So for us as Resto Druids, you're more likely to only use this in 2s because damage is pretty much everything, and the more damage you do outweighs the healing you can do because of the dampening effect of reduction of healing. Now for the passive, your abilities have a chance to put a dot onto your enemy or your ally and heal them for 8,000 damage or healing over 10 seconds. Again, so like, you know, the minor effect is kind of there. I don't think it's like the biggest deal in the world. I've noticed this kind of procs a decent amount, so I'm curious to see how much damage that would do. So again, I would probably only ever run this in 2s if I'm ever gonna run it. And with that being said, this one goes drum roll. It's a B. It's a B. Okay, so for the fourth one, we have trying to drag it over, Conflict and Strife. So this is actually pretty nice because it gives you overgrowth. Imagine that, a talent or essence that gives you a PvP talent, which frees up a space in your PvP talent that you can get. So that alone is pretty huge, and I think that deserves a good. So regardless of what the passive is, this alone is pretty strong. Now let's go ahead and get into the passive. The passive is your spells and abilities have a chance to increase your versatility by 48 for 8 seconds, stacking up 5 times. Being a victim of loss of control or movement impairing effects also grants a stack of Strife. So once you get a full 5 stack, you'll have around 240 to 250 versatility, which equates to 3% more healing or 1.5% damage reduction. So again, that alone is not that bad. It's just like a little bonus. So the main thing again here is to have that extra overgrowth to free up another PP slot, allowing you to go something else. So that to me is going to be the first S1. I think that is very viable. Again, since there is so much unknown stuff, I have not been able to fool around with this talent because I don't even have it, as you can see. So this could even be stronger than what I think it is, just because there's so much combos and customization that you can do with having an extra slot of a PvP talent. So I would have to dig deeper, and I would have to play a lot of games. So again, this is going to be something that's going to be over time that people are going to be able to find out if it's really viable or not. Honestly, like, I think it could be a S tier and an A tier. It just depends, but I think its potential is pretty strong. And for the next essence, a slot is going to be Lifebinder's Invocation. And basically what that does is implants 30 seeds of Anor. I think that's how you say it, Anor. I'm really bad at spelling, I'm sorry. Divided over all allies within 30 yards. And what the seed does is, if it bursts, it takes damage. The seed burst heal will heal them for 4,500. Wow, I butchered that read. So the major power, as you can see, is honestly not that quite good. What is really good about this is the minor power. And what it does is your heals have a very high chance, this is the big thing that you have to look out for, is the very high chance to implant a seed of Enunor in the target for 12 seconds. So essentially, you can get a 4,500 heal constantly proccing on all your teammates. And I think that alone could be possibly one of our biggest heals on the meter, maybe right next to rejuvenation. That seems like a pretty thick heal. So if you want to put this in the minor essence slot, you're more than welcome to. This is very strong. I wouldn't ever use this as a major power. So with that being said, this one's gonna have to be a B for me, again, because the major kind of sucks and this video is more about the majors, but the passive of this is insanely strong. At least if we're going by this super high chance. I haven't been able to use this on my own to be able to verify that, but again, we're just going to go off of this one right here. The haste one kept proccing, so we're just going to assume this one's going to keep proccing too as well. Now for the next one is going to be a very fat juicy one, which is a ripple in space. What this does is create an Azerite beacon at a target's location. After 4 seconds, the heart of Azeroth will relocate you to this beacon and deal 15,000 damage. So obviously the good part about this is the mobility. The being able to kind of blink around is huge, and this is on a 1 minute cooldown. Mobility is almost king in World of Warcraft. If you have a lot of mobility, you better use that to your advantage, because that's gonna how you're gonna be able to survive. This is your getaway, and especially since it's a blink rather than you running one point to another, is the other people cannot stop this. They cannot stop you. They, like, if you prop sprint and you are running, they could hodge you on your sprint, but no, they can't hodge your blink. I mean, they can, but you already be that distance, if that makes any sense. So this alone, the major power, is very strong. So let's go ahead and look at the passive. The passive's kind of okay. Not really too big on this, but when you move more than 25 yards within 4 seconds, gain 598 intellect for 15 seconds. It's going to only occur 30 seconds. Me as a person that heals, I'm not too big on like trinket procs and like the intellect you gain, even though it's a pretty decent chunk of intellect. I don't think that's very huge. So again, I'm gonna have to say the major power in this is insanely strong. Again, 1 minute cooldown. This is crazy. This is like Resto Druids getting their blink back. And that being said, the ripple is gonna have to be an S tier. Again, mobility is God, and on a 1 minute cooldown. If it was a 2 minute cooldown, I probably wouldn't make this a S tier. It'd probably be like a B tier or something like that, maybe even lower. But since it's on a 1 minute cooldown, you could practically prop it every single go of the enemy team, or you can use it to get to a better spot to be able to CC the enemy healer or DPS with this. This is insanely strong. So probably one of the most interesting essences on here is the ever rising tide. So let's go ahead and read this real quick. Overcharge your mana for 8 seconds, causing each spell you cast increase your healing by 3% stacking. Pretty good. While overcharged, your mana regeneration is halted. So you got to keep in mind, so when you're spamming this, you're spamming mana for 8 seconds. You can use a lot of mana, meaning you can use a lot of spells or increase your healing. Probably maybe, what would you say 8 seconds is in globals? Maybe like, is that like 6 globals? 5, 6 globals or something? Or can you actually get 8 globals off that? Is it a global a second? Actually, no. So let's assume it's like 8 globals. So you can increase your healing. What is 8 times 3? That's 24%. You can have 24% increase healing at the very end, obviously, and you're gonna halt your mana for 8 seconds. So that major power to me honestly doesn't seem that good. This is one of those things where I think the passive is actually better than the major. So let's go ahead and read the passive. Your heals have a chance to grant either 1,400 intellect for 10 seconds or give 2,000 mana. Chance to receiving mana increases with your missing mana. I think that is actually insanely strong. I think this is almost a must-have as a minor power, if I'm honest with you. The insight alone is huge, absolutely huge. And on top of that, there's a chance for you to get mana. And if your mana is lower than, like, you know, if it keeps getting lower, there's a bigger chance you'll get mana. So I think that is absolutely insane. I think this will do huge. As Resto Druids, you'll find yourself, if you're ooming, you struggle to mana regen to be able to get enough mana to be able to heal once you're like if you're able to constantly drink, you probably won't need this talent, but if you're not able to get drinks off, this talent is going to be huge. So if you're facing like, you know, like Demon Hunter DK and they put the necrotics on you and they allow it so when you run away they can just pop it and gets you in combat, this talent is going to be huge, and this is pretty much made for those situations. So I actually like this a lot. Again, since the major kind of sucks and the passive is really good, I went ahead and gave this a B. Now for the next one is really doo-doo, and that is the Well of Existence. The Well of Doo-doo, ha! So let's go ahead and read this. Release all the healing stored in the Well of Existence into that ally. This healing is amplified by 20%. And what is the Well of Existence? The Well is 15% of your only healing stored in the Well of Existence when you heal a target under 40%. The Well releases up to 5,700 of stored healing into them. That is very garbanzo. I can't believe this is even one. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong, but this seems stupidly bad. I would never use this in PvP. Maybe in PvE this could work. Maybe. Actually in PvE I could see this working. So since this is a PvE essence and not really made for PvP, I'm gonna have to give this a D. The first D on the list. Again, you're never gonna get any kind of value out of this, like, ever. Now for the next one is a Vision of Perfection. Your spells and abilities have a chance to cause an immediate burst of tranquility healing effect. So basically when you heal, you'll have a tick, a proc of tranquility. So this will affect your mastery. Not that good. So let's go ahead and look at the passive. Reduces the cooldown of tranquility by 14.7%. Not that good. Again, like, I don't know why they have 14.7%. Like, that 0.7 is going to make me want this more. Again, this is more of a PvE talent. So the major, you could maybe use the major. Maybe. Depends on how much it procs. It would increase your healing overall of the rest of your spells with the mastery. So with that being said, it's not very good. It's kind of like, it could be fun to use in PvP once in a while to see what it's like. I would give it a C just because it's like there. Now for this next one, I don't think a lot of people think this one is strong, but in my viewpoint, this could be insanely strong if used properly. And that is Vitality Conduit. Now let's go ahead and read it. It's a 1-minute cooldown. Direct the Vitality Conduit towards an ally every 0.5 seconds. For 6 seconds, they transfer 10,000 health from the highest health ally within 30 yards. So every second, it's going to do 20,000 health transferring to the target that it's on, and it's going to take it from the highest people. So let me go ahead and explain why the major is so good. So imagine you're facing RMP or Cupid, something that has a lot of single target pressure, not spread pressure, like Affliction Warlock or something. You don't even see Affliction Warlocks, but you know, it's just an example. If they have a lot of single target pressure, if you pop this onto your ally when they're bursting, you could potentially transfer 100k, 120,000 HP to that guy, and that could pretty much save anyone. 120,000 HP is like half of my HP pool. Obviously with the new gear coming out, we're gonna have a little bit more. I would say we might have like, what, 280k to 300k HP with this new gear coming out. So that's gonna be a lot, and this is only rank 1. This is going to get stronger, so I could see this being very viable. Also, you gotta remember when you do pop this, the team could swap to the targets with lower HP, but it's gonna be bouncing and taking HP from both targets, hopefully. And again, that's insanely strong. So I think this is gonna go unnoticed to a lot of players, and a lot of people are not gonna think this is very strong. With that being said, let's go ahead and look at the passive. Target of your heals have a very high chance to transfer 10,000 health from the highest health ally within 30 yards. So when you run this, you also get that effect as well. So it's like you get the double whammy. Pretty good. So it doesn't increase your healing at all. It just transfers health, which is, again, I think is very strong. So when you look at it, I guess you can look at it as you have increased healing, because if you haunt yourself up in your target and it's transferring health, you're healing both targets at the same time, and it's still the same damage. Does it make any sense? Does that make any sense? So I think that's very strong. Since I think that is very strong, I'm gonna give that one an A. I want to give an S. Could be an S. We're gonna have to wait to see when the season starts in one more week. And for the last one, honestly, don't even feel like reading this. This one is completely garbage. All you need to know is it's a PvE thing, and it forces you to go to a spot where the shard, the lifeblood shard, spawns, and you have to stand there and you get like a buff. I think this is very garbanzo. I hate this. Do not run this. That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's a D plus. That is a D minus. I don't know, dude. There's no pluses, minus. I don't know why I keep adding that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, make sure to hit that subscribe button and maybe go to my Twitch channel and, you know, hit that Twitch Prime button. Also that 2-1 sub or maybe a donation, whatever you have. Again, guys, it is me. It's your boy. It's Claak. And we're done. Bye, guys. Love you.